Hello everyone and welcome to another video here on White Coats and Corgis. Today I'm going to show you a clip from the Premed Experience, which is a free event I created and hosted back in March 2023. The goal of this event was to connect pre-med students with admissions experts and make their advice a little bit more accessible. We talked with admissions committee members, deans of medical school admissions, and MCAT tutors. Today's clip is from our very last session of the day called Real Truth with Real Medical Students. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Everyone, good to see you all again, and thank you to our medical students for joining. Again, I'm Dan. I am a second year internal medicine resident, and I'll be moderating the panel. So I'll be looking for questions in the Q&A portion below. But first, again, I want to thank our medical students for joining us, and I'm going to go one by one, and you just introduce yourself if you can, and tell us what year you're in and maybe what specialty you're interested in. And the first person I see here is Angela.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. My name is Angela Rakowski. I'm a rising third year. I'm at Rush in Chicago, and I'm currently interested in OBGYN or neurology, keeping an open mind. Definitely very excited for rotations.
Awesome. Next, I see Brooke.
Yeah, hey y'all, Brooklyn. I am a fourth year medical student. Cannot believe it. So on edge with match next week. I'm in Texas, and I also am finishing up my MPH during medical school, so that might be relevant to someone. And I'm kind of revealing what I'm applying to soon, but it's more like primary care focus and trying to incorporate public health in my career.
Awesome. Next person I see is Zara.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm in South Florida. I'm a third year medical student, and I'm currently interested in emergency medicine, but it changes like every day. So stay tuned.
Fair. And the last person I see here is Kinza.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kinza. I'm a fourth year medical student. I'm actually here in Massachusetts, and I am applying psychiatry.
And so we talked a lot about sort of the difficult parts of medical school, but I want to flip that now. And Lavisa asked a question that I want to direct to Brooke. What are some things you love about being a medical student? What's been your favorite part of this whole journey?
Yeah, I was actually just typing about that, so perfect timing. One of the things I love, and this just kind of shows I'm just like very people focused, is getting the chance to experience such raw and real moments with people that you just never would have had a chance to. You know, you get to work with patients during some of the most stressful and heartbreaking times of their entire lives. And I feel like that's something that I will always be so grateful for, or even just experiencing, you know, having such close relationships with folks experiencing homelessness or, you know, psychosis, like so many things that until you get to actually experience, like it will never, it's completely different, right? Like I even remember, you know, so many talks about, you know, gun policies, right? I was in trauma surgery in the OR of someone who just got shot. And like, I would just remember just like this overwhelming sensation of, you know, just like this honor and this privilege of being able to see such, you know, I mean, things that happen at the end of the day, all day, every day, but getting such a breath of it and experiencing so many different things has just been so, I don't know, that to me is just completely priceless. In addition, you know, I think just learning those skills again to make someone feel comforted, to feel seen. Again, I'm a very big softie. Like that to me, you know, I take all that stuff and apply it to my real life because, you know, everyone wants to feel heard, you know, their problems, right? And so I think for me, it really has been the human experience, being passionate about public health. I just think having those real life experiences with folks, is just really valuable when considering just all the different issues going on in this world, right? So that's some thoughts. And then, you know, just also like, again, I think the human body is just absolutely phenomenal and just so beautiful and majestic and just like, I'm not interested in surgery, but like being in surgery, like, I'm like, I know what everyone's like insides look like what, like, you know what I mean? Like the body's just doing all these amazing things at once, just on its own. I think in society, you know, we focus so much on what we look like, but like all of us right now, our bodies are doing so many endless things, and learning about that, I feel like can make you just like appreciate and just be in awe of the body in such a new way. Also childbirth, that happens all the time, but seeing it, you're just like, wow, magical. So those are some of my takeaways, kind of fluffy, but that's who I am.
Brooke, I wanted to ask you a question that I was seeing here as well, because you've gone through medical school now, and different years are different in terms of how much time you're spending on certain things. Could you go through sort of like an average day in the life at different parts of medical school and like what that really looks like? Because I feel like, you know, we hear that medical school is hard and you're busy, but what does that actually look like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so let me get into it. Obviously, it was impacted by COVID. It was kind of a weird time. And so thinking of pre-clerkship, right? So that's the first part before you're in rotations. Oftentimes there'll be just like lectures in the morning. So you can either go in person depending on your school, or you can like watch them later. The benefit of watching them later is that you can speed them up if that's better for you. But there's definitely something to be said about the structure that in-person lectures provide. Or just hearing someone in person. So it's very, you know, preference-based. From there, I felt like my school, like I had anatomy the first semester. So our first semester was like very, very packed. And so it felt like I was basically on campus the whole time. It definitely was like a misery loves company energy, because you just had a lot of allocated areas for your fellow students. And so we'd kind of just work together or work alongside one another. You know, often would go like watch anatomy videos to prepare a study, go to anatomy lab. We just kind of have random clinical skills. And so day to day, I feel like, you know, I would go to campus. A lot of times I would like bring a lunch and would kind of try and be there all day. It's really preference. I feel like for me, I really like my home space to be like a home space and not a productivity space. Like, for me, it's like, especially with my cats around, I get very like comfortable. So you just need to know yourself. Like maybe that means I felt like most days in pre-clerkship, I would just stay pretty late at the like library with friends. And then weekends, a lot of times I would try and like spice things up by going to like coffee shops. But a lot of times I would go to the library again, also to like save money because coffee costs money. And so in clerkships, it really just depends on the rotation. I will say I felt like clerkships is one of the hardest times just because you are there in person and navigating that while also needing to study for shelf exams. And so, I mean, oftentimes you were, you know, at the hospital most of the day, and you come home, you kind of have to study. You know, the best time to really ensure that you have some free time is to really front load things as much as possible. You're going to be so tired from the prior rotation that it's really tricky. So a lot of, I feel like ensuring that you have free time in medical school is kind of like looking into the future and kind of doing things not because you necessarily need to right in this moment, but because you want that peace of mind and free time later on. But there is a silver lining because fourth year is just kind of like random virtual classes right now, depending on when your sub-Is are. But especially, you know, around this time, at least my school, we kind of just have like a boot camp. We're kind of just going over different topics. And so it's really hard to condensed just because, I mean, even like I'm thinking of OB-GYN, mine was split up into 3 sections. And so like, depending on the week, the day would be completely different, you know, and sometimes you have weekends, sometimes you don't, sometimes you have nights. And so it really is hard to, I feel like, walk through a typical day. But I just felt like, I don't know, I really felt like it was really tricky. And again, that's going to be different for everyone. And a lot of that comes back to my original thing of you need to know what works for you. And because sometimes self-care honestly looks like getting ahead of your studies. So you have that Sunday morning to just like vibe out with some candles and stuff like that, you know? So it can look a little different, but it takes a lot of like thinking ahead. I hope that answered it enough.
Oh, that was a phenomenal answer. Thank you.